Okay, look, let's just get this out of the way. It feels really weird saying that I bought a Springfield. Almost shameful. I mean, you guys know this already. My name's Mike, and I am a Smith & Wesson guy. The first time that I got my hands on the 4-inch M&P 2.0, I just knew. This gun was absolutely perfect for me. It checked off every box on my list and then some. The thing is, then I started this whole YouTube thing, and I started having to branch out and try other things that normally I wouldn't have been interested in the first place. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes we branch out and we find some pretty cool stuff when we give it a chance. For those of you who have already been on my second channel, you've already seen this Hellcat Pro. For the rest of you, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link below to the 360TS Shorts channel. I'm posting all kinds of stuff over there, not just shorts. Over here, we do reviews. Over there, I post things like shorts, straight up range footage, and the occasional bloopers and outtakes. Nobody respects me in this house. Not even the dog. The dog's over here. In my office, being a dog, doing dog stuff. The kids are out there laughing and joking because I'm in here and I've got the expensive microphone picking up everything that they're saying. Hee hee hee, ha, Dad's pissed off in there because he's recording and we're being loud. Head on over there, take a look, and subscribe if you see anything that you like. All right, let's get into this, shall we? The Hellcat Pro is very similar to a platypus. It's the best parts of this and that all thrown together to create something new and slightly weird that I didn't realize that I needed until I actually got it in my hand. Now, this gun falls between two very popular sizes, and it does it in a way that makes me question why it is that Smith & Wesson and Glock didn't beat Springfield to it. The Glock 19, of course, is the most popular concealed carry gun in the world. I'm not a fan, of course. I carry the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. It works very well for me. It's comfortable in my hand. I love shooting it, very accurate with it. The next size down from the M&P, as far as Smith & Wessons go, is going to be the Shield. Now, although a lot of people really like that gun, I don't like it. I don't like the way that it feels in my hand, and I don't like the way that it feels when I fire it. I'm damn near Goldilocks with this shit. This one's too big. This one's too small. This one's too hot. This one's too cold. Look, I'm picky. I know what I want, but I can't quite seem to find exactly that. The Hellcat Pro, it bridges the gap between size when it comes to the M&P 2.0 and the Shield. Honestly, I can say that I actually like this gun. I have genuinely tried very hard over the last couple of weeks to be overly critical and find something that I hate about this gun. And so far I've come up short on complaints. Let's start this review with the sights. The Hellcat Pro is a straight up optics ready gun. You don't have to specifically buy an optics ready version because the Hellcat Pro is just, that's all that there is. And I like that. If you aren't ready to move into the world of red dots, that's okay. If you change your mind later on, the gun's already set up for it, and it's easy enough to take that cover plate off and install an optic if you so choose. Regardless of your sighting preferences, the Hellcat Pro comes with a damn good sighting system right out the gate. Now, this gun is my first experience with the Springfield U-notch sight system. It seems really weird, and at first glance, I would almost say that it's more of a gimmick than a usable feature. But that's the first impression, and it'd be dead wrong to say that. In the rear, you have the white U. In the front, you have a circular high-vis green or yellow, and in the center, it is glow-in-the-dark. I don't know if that's tritium or what. It could be a little bit brighter, but it is fairly bright. Anybody who's watched my channel for any length of time knows that I'm not a big fan of night sights. I would prefer that everybody just use a weapon-mounted light and throw the night sights away. I'm sure that I'm gonna get plenty of hateful comments, so whatever, leave the comments. I'm probably not gonna read them. We can debate night sights versus weapon-mounted light at another time. Today, we're talking about the Hellcat Pro. That white U-notch in the back, combined with the high-vis circle in the front, it just works. It's easy and fast to use, and it feels incredibly intuitive. If I wasn't a red dot guy, if I was, all strictly about iron sights, these are sights that I would leave on the gun. I wouldn't pull those off and swap them out with fiber optics like I do, most other guns that I own. I would actually use these stock sights. When I first installed the Holosun onto the Hellcat Pro, I went ahead and took it to the indoor range. I wanted to get it zeroed in a controlled environment where I have measured distances and blah, blah, blah. You know the routine. A week or so later, I went ahead and decided I was going to film a video talking about the C&H Precision adapter plate that I use to install the Holosun onto the Hellcat Pro. In order to do that, of course, I had to take the optic off, strip it back down to its stock configuration to be able to get the footage to make that video. During the video, I went ahead and installed the red dot back onto the gun, got everything buttoned back up, and I didn't have time to take it back to the range and re-zero it afterwards. Instead, I ended up going to the outdoor gravel pit kind of on a whim and had it with me, decided to, just shoot some rounds through it and start the break-in period. The red dot was off, and I mean way off. I mean, it was bad. Luckily, it is super easy to transition back to those iron sights. I think I put 6 or 7 mags through the gun that day, so what is that? I don't know, we'll call it 100 rounds. Even though I have the optic error, and that was extreme user error, I friggin' know better, I know.
So, funny story, I thought that I had the dot on this thing zeroed in last week when I took it to the indoor range. Apparently, it's not even close to being zeroed, so that's probably a good reason to have a little bit of co-witness with your iron sights so that you can actually still hit stuff. It was important when you're carrying a gun.
Even though I had that user error, I was able to stay on target pretty much the entire time I was there at the outdoor range. No real issues using those iron sights that came on the gun. So coming from the 4-inch M&P being my daily carry pretty much since that gun released, and going over to the Hellcat Pro, which is like 3.7 inch barrel length, I didn't know what to expect. I know that I can't stand the 3-inch barrel that's on the shield. I like the feeling of the Hellcat Pro in my hand, and all I could think of was, good God, I hope this thing doesn't handle the way that the shield does. After all, that's what made me get rid of the shield and stick to the 4-inch M&P pretty much full time. I didn't like the recoil impulse. So I got a bunch of new stuff in. I took 3 guns to the range the same day. I took the 4-inch M&P, I took the Hellcat Pro, and I also took the 10mm M&P. Yes, 10mm M&P. I got optics for all 3 of them, installed all 3 of them, and then went to the indoor range so that I could zero all 3 in at the same time. So what's weird is I didn't feel a measurable difference in the recoil between the 4-inch M&P and the Hellcat Pro. Now sure, the barrel lengths are close, 3.7, 4 inches, but still, I expected for the Hellcat to be just a little snappier than the M&P is. The difference, it was negligible. The main thing that I really noticed was the difference in triggers. Now I love these Apex flat face triggers. Good God, do I love the Apex. But so far, they haven't certified a trigger for the Hellcat Pro. What does that mean? That just means they haven't done enough testing to say, yeah, it's safe. But you know what? It's just a matter of time. Hell, by the time I get this gun fully broken in, I bet Apex has a trigger certified, ready, and released for the Hellcat Pro. Apex, if you're out there, call me. So the trigger on this Hellcat Pro, I wouldn't say that I hate it as much as I do the stock trigger on the M&P, but it's pretty close. Even the new series of M&Ps, like the 10mm, that trigger, it's not great. It ain't no Apex, I'll tell you that. I don't really like the way that the trigger on this gun, the corner of it rubs into my finger quite a bit. Yeah, it's fine for a range trip. If I'm heading out and I'm throwing a box or two downrange, you know, it's a mild irritant. The thing is though, if I'm going to spend a little bit more time, if I'm going to put 150, 250 rounds downrange, I'm really not going to be real comfortable with my trigger finger. I'm just going to throw this out there. I have been completely spoiled by having the Apex on my M&P 2.0. Any of you out there that have one, you guys know what I'm talking about. Once you go Apex, you never go back. As far as trigger weight on this gun goes, I'm getting a little over 6 pounds, like 6 pounds, 5 ounces. It's not horrible. It doesn't have that gritty feeling like the 10mm M&P does. I don't know, it's just not quite what I like. For now though, I can overlook that the trigger on that Hellcat Pro is just kind of meh. It's not really a deal breaker for me. Not even close, actually. The positives on this gun so heavily outweigh the negatives that I will live with that trigger. It's just something that, while doing a review, I absolutely have to point it out, because I'm not going to have somebody else step up and say that, you know, the trigger isn't great and wonder why I didn't mention it. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't point it out. It doesn't really matter though. I know that Apex will swoop in and save the day. I know that I will get the trigger for this Hellcat that I deserve and that it deserves. And at that point, I'll be doing a video on it, of course. You know what Apex does have for the Hellcat Pro? They have the extended mag release. I'm really kind of 50-50 on whether or not I want to buy it. Leaning more towards yes. Not that it really needs it. It's just I love Apex products and I'd really like to test it out and let you guys know in case there's somebody out there that has this gun and is interested in the Apex extended mag release. The thing is though, I actually really like the mag release on this gun. For the most part, I feel like they could have textured it back a little bit further. You know, the mag release doesn't stick up so that it's obnoxious. It doesn't catch on things. It doesn't grab on things. It's responsive. It's easy to use. It's easy to reach. There's no problems with it. I just really feel like the one from Apex is going to be a little bit better. The texture on it extends through the entire thing instead of only part of the mag release. I don't know, everything about upgrading your pistol is all about personal preference. Speaking of personal preference, I'd like to talk for a moment about the grip texture on this gun. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the M&P 2.0 is my go-to. And I love that super aggressive 80 grit sandpaper-like texture on that grip. When this gun is in your hand, you know that it's there and you know that you are not going to lose your grip no matter what the conditions. It could be rain or snow or mud, it doesn't matter. You ain't losing your grip on this. The Hellcat Pro is very similar. It's not quite as aggressive as the M&P is, perhaps just a little bit less aggressive, but it's all in how the texture itself is designed, where it's textured, the indentations, all of it, all combined into one to make, honestly, what I feel is one of the best grip textures that's on the market. It actually pains me to say that because you know that I love the M&P grip. Springfield put these two textured index points in the front and they're slightly dimpled in. My left thumb and my right finger, they go right into those spots like they were designed off of my hand specifically. There's a spot on the left side of the gun where my support thumb just sits perfectly and it's textured so there's no slipping. Now the grip is the weirdest thing at first. It's square almost and has finger grooves on the front. It's a compact feeling grip without feeling compact. And it still has the ability to have a magazine capacity of 15 rounds. Unless you're in places like Washington or New California, as I like to call it, where here in just a few days we will only allowed to have 10 rounds in our mags. Anyways, I don't know what kind of platypus voodoo that Springfield did here to make this grip, but you know what? I'm loving it. I can't get over it. I am having a hard time grasping what exactly this gun is. Not only what it is, but how they managed to do it. Think about it. This gun is thin. It's thin like the shield, so it conceals well, and it's lightweight. Part of the reason that it's lightweight is because it has the shorter barrel, but again, it doesn't handle like it's got a shorter barrel. It's got a blocky square grip that somehow defies conventional wisdom. And it's not only extremely comfortable in the hand, but it also gives plenty of room to get a good solid grip on the gun. At the same time, the grip is not so long that it prints while concealing and still manages to give you the same magazine capacity as a Glock 19 or an M&P 2.0. That's a goddamn platypus right there. I don't feel good about this. I don't, but I believe I have found the gun that's going to take my prime spot in my conceal carry rotation from my Smith & Wesson M&P. Mind you, I'm saying this right now with my Hellcat being mostly stock. No trigger upgrade, no mag release upgrade, no ported barrel, no spare mags, no mag extensions. The only thing really that I've done to this gun is instead of going with the Hex Wasp optic, I put a Holosun on it. Link below if you want to check out that video. It's a really sad day when I have to admit that the Hellcat Pro in a nearly stock configuration beats my M&P 2.0 as far as meeting all of my conceal carry needs. Not only that, but we're talking about my Floyd's custom M&P. You guys know I love this gun. I absolutely do. This thing is fully decked out. There isn't much else that I could have done to it. It's got all the bells and whistles. And the stock Hellcat Pro is beating it right now. All right, here's some bullet points. Hellcat Pro, it fits my hand really well, very comfortable. It is accurate. The recoil impulse is not much different from what I experience with my 4-inch M&P. Depending on the holster that you use, it has a seriously slim carry profile. And you know what? That saves the day, because I will be damned if I didn't gain a shit ton of weight when I quit smoking last year. Another thing, the Hellcat Pro is noticeably lighter than my M&P, especially if I'm carrying it for extended amounts of time. One of the things that I've noticed when I carry either my Palmer 80 or the 4-inch M&P, when I carry it for anything much past an hour and a half, I start getting a lot of lower back pain. Now, before you start commenting down below, you gotta understand, I'm in my 40s. I have had numerous injuries that I let go untreated. So because of the life that I've led up till now, when I carry appendix, I get pain in my lower back. When I carry at the 3 o'clock position, whether it's inside the waistband or outside the waistband, I get pain on the opposite side hip. What my body is doing is it is compensating for that excess weight that I'm carrying, compensating on the opposite side. The fact is, I'm getting older, my body is broken as all hell, and that's a me thing. So that's just something that I have to work around when it comes to conceal carry. Not everybody is going to have the same issues that I have. But then again, maybe some of the people out there actually do. Maybe you have a back injury or some other type of condition that really makes life hell when you decide to carry a weapon. If that's you, look, I can carry this gun all day long. I can go shopping and I can walk around doing all the things that I need to do. At the end of it all, I don't feel all of those aches and pains and fatigue the way that I would with other heavier concealed carry guns that I've used in the past. The Hellcat Pro is going to be accurate and reliable. It's got a good capacity, 15, and it could be even better if somebody would take the time to make some magazine extensions. Floyd's custom, maybe, +6. I can't have them here in Washington, but it'll make me sleep better knowing that they exist. The texture and the shape of this grip, you know what, for me, they just work. I don't know what else to say other than I'm convinced. I'm convinced that Springfield has brought to market a concealed carry pistol that works better for my personal needs than almost anything else that I have used or looked into. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that I'm not buying any more guns. After all, this is what I like to do. I do think, though, that if you get a chance to get your hands on a Hellcat Pro, you should go into it with an open mind. Don't take my word for it. Don't take any other reviewer's word for it. You know, don't listen to any of your friends. Get it in your hand and test it. Find a range that has a rental program, rent one, and put some rounds downrange. I genuinely can't say enough good stuff about this gun, and I'm actually really excited that this one is going to be pretty much my new full-time concealed carry pistol. Okay, so that's it for this video. This is not the last you've seen of this Hellcat Pro. I have more Hellcat content coming up soon. So make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you back here very soon.